Hello again, everybody. We're back today again with our continuing series, Top 10 Movies. Today we're doing 1996 in our series of movies. We started from 1980 here with Brian, Massey's Maine Entertainment, and Doc, the usual trio. We've gone from 1980 up through 96, where we're giving our top 10 movies and one worst. Tandem video on Brian's channel, Massey's Maine Entertainment. You can find the corresponding year of music where we do our perfect album, and it's 12 songs from 1965 through 96. Our plan is to go to 1999, and then we're going to drift off and find a new project or two to just something different. We're kind of played out as we get to the end of the 90s, and maybe one day we'll come back and pick it up from there. But anyway, guys, 1996 movies. I know last time we had a lot of common denominators with 7 trifectas in 1995. Surprised all 3 of us because we don't know our lists in advance, and we sort of, surprise each other once in a while. And today, I don't think it's going to be quite that much in unison, but you never know. We'll find out when we go. The order today is Brian, Doc, and myself. So let's jump right into it. Check the links below, by the way, for past episodes, for Brian's channel. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We need a little help. Our channels are both stalling a little bit. If you really like this series and encourage us, like it, subscribe to it, and give us some comments. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, Brian, let's do it. Top 10.
Top 10. Okay, so starting off, I went with kind of a personal favorite at number 10. I picked The Frighteners here by Peter Jackson. It's kind of a quasi horror film slash comedy film starring Michael J. Fox, where he is a person who went through a traumatic accident, and then suddenly he has the ability to see ghosts, and then suddenly there becomes this a string of deaths that he starts to notice happening through town, because he can see this Grim Reaper type figure going in and killing people and stuff, and it becomes that some type of that's the impetus that kind of gets everything going there. They think it's him who's doing it because he has such insight on everything, but it's actually not. I think it's a hilarious movie, and some of the special effects at the time just absolutely incredible, with the ghosts coming out of the walls and stuff like that. I thought were really cool. Number 9, I've got probably Grissom, maybe my favorite Grissom one. I've got Joel Schumacher's A Time to Kill. This one's about Samuel L. Jackson's character. He commits murder on 2 individuals who had horrendously beat and raped his daughter, and he felt like there would be no consequences for them because they're living in the Deep South, and his family's black. So he retaliates and kills them, and of course is arrested, and he gets Matthew McConaughey to represent him, and it's all about dealing with the prejudices that are occurring in the South, and dealing with the prejudices that can even find their way into courtrooms. And for a courtroom drama, I thought it was very well acted. McConaughey does a great job. Sandra Bullock's great in it. Oliver Platt's in this. I think it's one of those other times where I see both the Sutherlands are in it as well. Donald Sutherland's in it, as well as Kiefer. Number 8, I've got Milos Forman's The People versus Larry Flynt. I think this was kind of a nice little breakout role for Woody Harrelson, playing the infamous Larry Flynt, the guy who owns a Penthouse magazine, and it's a really great thing as a what's his name? Why do I always run into all these times where I forget people's
Which
names?
guy?
Huh?
What? Woody Harrelson or
Not Woody Harrelson, the lawyer.
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton. Why am I always forgetting names like that? Ed Norton is his character. It's about him. He's the lawyer for Larry Flynt, and he really believes in Larry's cause, despite the fact that he doesn't really believe in what Larry does. He believes in Larry's cause, and they end up going all the way to the Supreme Court and actually trialing the case of the People versus Larry Flynt to defend the right for even objectionable material to be presented to the public and not be limited in any way. So number 7 for me, I've got Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn, movie that my wife absolutely hates to watch. Really movie that's actually in like 2 sections. There's like an action part at the beginning with George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, who are brothers, are on the run from the law, so they try to get away. They kind of hijack this family to get them across the Mexican border. And once they get across the Mexican border, they're just kind of like waiting for somebody that's going to like come pick them up and help them disappear into old Mexico. But the place that they stop is a big rest area for vampires. So it quickly turns from an action film into an absolute horror fest. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek horror, though. Some very funny lines in it, references to the Wild Bunch. And then there's one part where he tells one of the bikers that if he doesn't drop that pool cue, that vampires aren't going to suck his blood. They'll be able to lick it up off the floor. It's really some really cool stuff in it. So number 6 for me, I've got Trainspotting, Danny Boyle. This one here, this was kind of a heartbreaking. I mean, I know it's kind of black comedy in a lot of ways, but still kind of heartbreaking in some spots of it, spots in it. I really didn't like, it felt like there were times where I'm trying to root for, Ewan McGregor's character, all the time, because he's trying to clean up his life and he's trying to get things all back on the narrow and straight and narrow path. And then like one of the people that he's hanging out with, or a girl or anything else, they always like end up like knocking him off the path again. And it's just like that's really what the movie's kind of about, these trials and tribulations of a bunch of drug addicts and their goofy, always in trouble type of friends that they hang out with. And it's a really good movie, though, that you need to watch at least once in your life. I really liked it a lot at the time from an art standpoint, and I just never really circled back to it too much. I know they have a Trainspotting 2 that came out in 2017. I have yet to watch that as well. So number 5, I've got Nicholas Hittner. He directs a version of the Crucible with Daniel Day-Lewis. Winona Ryder's also in this, and Joan Allen as well. Just a whole host of other names that are actually in this film. It's an adaptation of Arthur Miller's play, The Crucible. Actually, he wrote the screenplay for this as well. I think the adaptation is really good. The acting is just absolutely solid. It's basically chronicling the Salem witch hunt that basically went on, where people would just openly accuse their neighbors of convorting with the devil, and then that was their excuse to always like get back at their neighbors, or to actually deflect blame away from them for doing the things that they're doing in their life. So it's a good adaptation, and I really enjoyed the movie. So number 4, I know this is going to come as a surprise for you guys. I do have Primal Fear here. It's got your boy Richard Gere in it. But the performance by Edward Norton alone. See, now I can remember his name. Right?
There you go.
Got to be a little bit more crazy. But man, his performance in this, for the first time I can ever remember seeing Ed Norton in anything, is probably his first film. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Just absolutely blows it out of the park. I mean, he is just sensational in it. He's a guy who's on trial for killing a priest, and basically he pretends to have multiple personalities, and he actually gets Richard Gere's character to believe it, and then it is until the end till things begin to shed their true light. And it's just a really great movie, and I love watching it. So, and number 3 for me, one of my favorite movies, maybe of all time as well, I got Sling Blade here by Billy Bob Thornton. Top-notch acting and directing from Billy Bob here. Stars, he's got Robert Duvall's in this as well, playing his father, and I thought he did a really good job as well. It's just a relationship about a mentally handicapped man who finally gets out of a sanitarium, and he befriends this young boy who lives in an abusive home with an abusive not even stepfather, just a gentleman that lives in the home. Dwight Yoakam plays that person. It's just a really great story about how he basically comes to the aid of this young boy and befriends him, and really great story all the way through. I think some of there's some really funny parts and interesting parts in there as well. John Ritter's character is actually very funny in it, I think. Yeah. And also the band that Dwight Yoakam actually plays in. That's absolutely just hilarious. We ain't got no goddamn band, Randy. You know, we ain't got no lyrics, Randy. It's funny stuff. But great movie. I could watch it anytime that it's on. So number two for me, I've got John Sayles' Lone Star here. I know that this one, wasn't like a big mega hit or anything at the box office. I know that it did fairly well, but Chris Cooper's acting has always been one that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, and I really liked him in this. This got Chris Christopherson in it as well. And basically, it's about a small town sheriff who's kind of living in the underneath the shadow of his father, who is revered in this town as being, some type of mega savior of a sheriff. And so there ends up being the remains of a body found, and then all of a sudden there's a big investigation that ends up uncovering all these secrets of this small town, including secrets that involve his father and secrets that involve even his love interest in the film and himself, which I won't go into. I mean, everybody can watch the film and kind of figure all that out for themselves. But I think Lone Star, vastly underrated film. If nobody's seen it, they should definitely take time to watch it. I know it just didn't get out to a lot of theaters, but really a massively underrated film. So worst movie for 1996, guys, this was kind of a no-brainer for me. I picked Ed, the movie with Matt LeBlanc and a chimpanzee playing baseball. This seemed like, massive no-brainer to me, and this just in, the chimp was a better actor. So just figured I'd throw that out there. It's pretty terrible movie. I mean, it didn't even come in a regular movie case. I remember when I was working at the movie company, it came in like in in the children's type of movie case. I mean, they were already selling it like that. So I'm like, you've reached the end of your career. Really, it's like when you start one of the first movies you make after you're like coming off of Friends is you've got to make a movie with an animal. Your career is not going anywhere. So. But number one, I think this might be a repeating motif tonight. It's one of the best movies of all time. I'm not sure how it even pan out in the 90s unless we got to ranking our number ones again. But I've got Fargo by the Coen brothers here. Just an absolute filmmaking masterpiece, movie masterpiece. The story's just absolutely a banger of one. I love Steve Buscemi's character in there. And the other villain there, Peter Stormare, which it's funny, you see him in other movies now. Every time I see him in another movie, I still go, I want fucking pancakes, hungry, and it's just like it's crazy stuff. But yeah, it's a small town murder mystery, basically what it really amounts to. Frances McDormand is a pregnant local sheriff who has to solve this crime that has occurred, under her jurisdiction. And even though that she's limited in her ability to move around quite speedily or anything like that, it's and it's a lot of hijinks and tongue-in-cheek kind of funny things that happen. She manages to solve this crime, so it's really kind of an epic film all the way through. So that's my number one.
Awesome. Love it. Can't say anything negative about that. I think I had four of the same. I knew we'd be a little bit different this time around.
Yeah, I thought we would. You and I might have another one or two, maybe.
I like the Lone Star pick too, because that is an underrated movie, and not a lot of people have seen it. I wish I could find it again. I'd like to see it again. It's been a long time since I saw it. I know I liked it a lot.
I still have it on VHS. I have not been able to find it on any other format.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Yeah, good list, Brian.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say, buddy. Yeah.
Thanks.
I knew you were partial to From Dusk Till Dawn. I knew that was going to be somewhere on the list. I just didn't know where. We talked about that before. It's an out there kind of movie, but it's cool.
It is.
All right, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump into 96, but 1 through 10, like Brian said, it'd be a little shocking if we'll see how it unfolds. But 2 through 10 could look like anything. 2 could look like anybody's 2 from 2 to 20. There's a lot of new movies to to choose from, I think, in 96. So
Mhm.
some of them are pretty solid watches, man. That's my opinion. I have some personals and some other things I just think stand the test. So I'm going to keep with it. And my number 10 is going to come in with The Funeral at number 10.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Walken, Chris
Yeah.
Penn, mobsters in the 30s. Not big mobsters and stuff like this, but it just revolves around the funeral of the third brother that actually got taken out in a mob hit kind of thing, and trying to find out who did it and the pressures of actually being in the mob, especially as the back half of the story unfolds. Funeral's a pretty good little mob flick, man, and acting driven. I like that kind of stuff, man. Chris Penn is Chris Penn. Chris Penn's a pretty good actor, man, and Christopher Walken is pretty solid, man. So I had a lot that I had to cut to make this thing happen, man. So now I want The Funeral on my list. So
Right.
I do like the Frighteners too. So that's my number 9.
Wow.
Yeah. I like it a lot, man. I like that Peter Jackson. This is like the beginning of his. This is a Zemeckis-backed flick. You can see it coming out. Michael J. Fox is in this movie. You're right about the special effects. Really, really good, especially at the time here in 96. It's got a creepy, haunting kind of feel to it. It's a good little sci-fi horror kind of mystery wrapped into one. It was some pretty cool special effects.
Yeah. Was it the NAAAC, the National African American Apparition Coalition?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, double C, whatever.
Yeah.
Start his own.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Jake Busey's in it as well. So.
Yeah.
Frighteners, good little campy little kind of horror flick, man. Speaking with campy and something different, you guys know I like this movie, and it's going to make my list no matter what, because it did change the genre, I think, at the time. So I'm putting Scream on my list in 96.
Yeah, I thought you might have it.
Yeah. To me, it's a top 10 96 flick, man. It changed the way the movies were done. It changed the horror genre. Horror genre was stale, I guess, in a lot of senses. You had some stuff that popped up, be it Nightmare and stuff in the previous years and stuff. But, you got to go back to the 80s and the 70s before you got some pretty good horror stuff, really. And it changed here. It changed with Scream. Scream's good, campy, pretty vicious. And it was a well-written story. And it goes off and creates different things for the next 20, 30 years of how horror movies are done and looked at. They're looked at differently, man. So Scream, I can watch it anytime, man. And it had Drew Barrymore to start there, man. So
right.
That's a pretty vicious opening, let me tell you. So where does that leave me? Number 7, I guess, right? Sounds like one Brian had right around this neighborhood at least, I think. So I have A Time to Kill coming in here, Brian. Pretty much everything you said, like it's a heart-wrenching story behind it about, some awful stuff happening to a guy's daughter, Samuel Jackson's daughter, and what may or may not happen in retribution and jail time and where it goes from there. Matthew McConaughey is pretty solid at this time in his career, man, and this is a pretty solid role if you want the truth. Sandra's good. Samuel's in it for different reasons, and there's lots of little undertones to why McConaughey may or may not be his lawyer and what he's thinking behind it. And Time to Kill's that's a good flick, man. You're right. Maybe one of the better Grisham ones you're gonna watch. So right up there for me. The personal favorite for me coming at number 6, man, because I just love everything about this one. I'm going with my action flick, Mission Impossible, man. It's gonna make my list. So, I like it. I like the way it's shot. I like the cinematography of it. It's got some campy CGI. It's got some, but it's still well done. It's still a good little catchy little spy thriller story. There's lots of stuff that's going on. It's got a good cast, man. Jean Reno's in it. Cruise is Cruise. Ving is Ving. It's a good spy Bondish kind of flick, just with a different tone. I like all the Mission Impossibles except for number 2, if you want the truth. So
Kristen Scott Thomas is in it too.
That's right.
Yeah, very sexy.
Yeah.
So Mission's going to make my list as one of my top 10s in 96. Number 5, I do have Primal Fear here. So, Richard Gere's fine in it. He's okay. Ed Norton is friggin' incredible in this flick, man.
Yeah.
And if this is the way you start your career, this guy should be up for an Oscar every time he shows up on screen. If this is the case, man, because this is incredible. Yeah, that's right. He had everybody fooled for the first time you watch this friggin' movie, man.
Yeah,
That's without a doubt. Primal Fear, man. Got the courtroom. It's got some murder. It's got some twists and turns. It's a good flick, man. Really good flick. If you haven't seen Primal Fear, you should check it out. Some stuff may be a little disturbing inside the storylines. It's movies, man. You're going to get that. This is a really good one. Brian, you touched on it here, man. I got Lone Star at number 4. I think back when we did our underrated actors, I had Chris Cooper down on my list, and he's I still think he's underrated. I still think this guy should be doing more than what he probably does, or if he wants to, he should do more. He's a great actor, leads the charge. Brian touched on what the story background was about what happens in the small town on an old unsolved murder, basically, that's taken place, and how it comes up to present day and how it unfolds from there, and the storylines outside that from what may or may have happened in the past to get to that end game, shall we say. Lone Star's a really good flick, man. It's got a lot of vibes to it, that come after, be it Hell or High Water or No Country for Old Men. It's got that kind of vibe to me before those come out. So I got Sling Blade at number 3, guys. Same spot I think you might have had it at.
Yeah.
What can you say, man? Yeah. Billy Bob Thornton's fantastic. I love John Ritter's character in there, and Dwight Yoakam is just an asshole, right? So it's but almost not enough of an asshole to get the fate that he actually gets, if you understand what I mean. So he's like, he teeters on like being that close to being an asshole, but the story goes as the story goes, as Brian touched on, Billy Bob Thornton and his handicap, and he's been in an institution for long enough for something that happened previously, and he gets let free and befriends a little one, a younger boy, and dragged into his life and tries to fix that for him before it goes any worse for them. So Sling Blade's a really good flick, man. Number 2, I have Sleepers at number 2. I had to think long and hard about this one. This is a really good movie, man. This is my take. The young boys growing up, just causing mischief in the 60s and doing different things, get sent off to, should we say, a correction facility for boys, and where it happens from there with Kevin Bacon, and what unfolds with those boys is heartbreaking and disgusting for what they go through for the next 12, 18 months of their life before they get set free.
Yeah.
And it goes on to what happens to guys catching up later in life, on how their all lives kind of switched but didn't still connect it, and how it unfolds from there, and the connections that they had from kids to throughout their life that really define on how their life changes after something that they do when they're older. So I think Sleepers is a really cool story, as much as it's disturbing as hell at some points. The acting's fantastic. Robert De Niro, Brad Pitt. It's got a great cast here, man. Jason Patrick's in it. I've always liked this movie, man. And it's always been with me pretty high on my list when I go watch this movie, man. It touches a lot of nerves. It's a great flick. Worst movie. I did not see Ed, so I feel pretty good about that. I had 3 down as my list, so, and that didn't include The Island of Doctor. So I had Escape from LA, which was on my short list because that just ruined Escape from New York. But I had Striptease down because I still think that's pretty much, people try to defend it for what it is. I still think it's crap. So, but I got to go with, this is 1996. I saw this looking for one reason only, and that's the reason why I saw it. But is it ever garbage, man? Barbed Wire is the worst movie of 96 to me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's pretty bad.
pretty bad. You'll watch 18 seconds of that movie and say, all right, I got my money's worth, and that's it. Because that next hour and a half of your life is gone, man. And better make the best of that 18 seconds. That's all I can tell you.
Yep.
Guy. Barbed wire shit. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Not that any of these ones are home runs either, but I'm gonna drop right into it. Brian had it number one. I'm gonna have it number one as well. Fargo is definitely the movie of '96, and then we start getting in a different conversation after that. So, yeah, we can talk about everybody else's Buscemi's and Peters and William H. Macy's, and we all know what we think of Francis and the setting, the cinematography, the way it's shown. This is movie making at its absolute best with a great story, and you're darn tootin' this is the best movie of '96. Look at that right now, man. Friggin' right.
So you were having
Easy.
sex with the little fella.
Circumcised.
Circumcised.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. That's a bona fide classic. Very good. Again, I applaud both of you for putting Lone Star on your list. It was my number 11. It just missed, but I need to catch up with it again. I'd like to revisit it. Really good movie. I like Chris Cooper too, one of the best actors out there. Sure.
Very cool.
Yep. Okay. I knew two of them would be on your list somewhere. That would be Scream and Mission Impossible. They're locks. I didn't know where you'd place them, but I knew from prior conversations they would be both on there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're top teners in '96 for me, for Doc.
Yep. There you go. All right, I have one kind of personal favorite. I know it's not the greatest film ever made, but I really enjoy it, and that's That Thing You Do.
Oh yeah,
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically 1964, Erie, Pennsylvania. This garage band, a local band called the Wonders, spelled Oneders, and they have a hit. It gets local play and it goes national. Becomes number 7 on the charts. It's called That Thing You Do. Just a fun, lightweight, appealing, kind of charming little movie. It nails the time period perfectly of the mid '60s when the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five and those British invasion bands were taking off. Similar sound on the hit. A young cast. Tom Everett Scott, Liv Tyler's in here. Steve Zahn, Charlize Theron is one of the girlfriends, and Tom Hanks is their manager, and he also directed the film. And I know he was a big fan growing up in that era. He was a big fan of the Dave Clark Five, and I think that's who he based the band around, just their look with the ties and stuff. Number 9 is Courage Under Fire. Edward Zwick, the great director, who's an underrated guy. He's done a lot of my favorite films. Looking back on it, he did Glory and Legends of the Fall and The Last Samurai and Blood Diamond and this film, Courage Under Fire. Gulf War, and you got a guy, Denzel Washington, who screwed up earlier in he covered up a deadly accident before. Now he's got a chance to set things right on a different case with Meg Ryan, whether she deserves the medal posthumously after getting killed in the war, which, was it just? You got Matt Damon in here, Lou Diamond Phillips. Real good cast. It's part courtroom drama, part war film. So I'll give it a number 9 for me. Number 8 is one Brian had, People versus Larry Flynt, directed by Milos Forman. Great cast. Woody Harrelson really knocked it out of the park here. Nobody expected that from him. Serious role, coming off of Cheers and some of the other things he's done. Goofball comedies like Kingpin and whatever. Was he in Kingpin? I think he was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. So here he is with the People versus Larry Flynt. You got Courtney Love.
Yeah.
An appearance as his girlfriend, Althea. Larry Flynt, of course, Hustler magazine, censorship, free speech, the whole 9 yards. It goes to the Supreme Court. Edward Norton's excellent in here. And it's a great biopic. It shows the assassination attempt, his resulting paralysis in the wheelchair and the slurred speech. And it just depicts his life at that time. And I think Harrelson does a great job of it. Number 7 is Jerry Maguire. directed by Cameron Crowe, written and directed by Cameron Crowe. Romantic comedy, a sports drama. Tom Cruise again carries this movie along with Renee Zellweger and Cuba Gooding Jr. Got some iconic lines: "Show me the money," "You had me at hello," "You complete me." All those things are worked into their way into people's vocabularies after that. He plays a sports agent, and it's corny. I know it's corny, but it works for me, and it just shows how much of a movie star Cruise is. He commands the screen, I think, in every scene. Number 6 is one nobody had, kind of didn't expect them to. It's called Shine. This is an Australian psychological drama. Jeffrey Rush, another biopic about this pianist who has a mental breakdown, spent years in an institution. David Helfgott, I think his name is. Kind of a powerful, uplifting performance. You know, I'm a sucker for these things. And you got a good performance here by Noah Taylor as the young Jeffrey Rush. They show him growing up and how this thing happens to him. And then, you know, he gets in institution, he comes out and tries to adapt to real life. His father's good too, Armin Mueller-Stahl, German actor. He does a good job in this as well. Number 6. All you Seinfeld fans are going to hate me. I like The English Patient. That's my number 5. Excuse me, number 5. A good romantic war drama, World War II. Kind of sappy at times, but it's beautifully shot. It's slow. Got to have patience for the payoff at the end where everything kind of ties together. Ralph Fiennes and Juliette Binoche, a favorite actress of mine. Willem Dafoe, Kristen Scott Thomas. It's got a wonderful cast. I think it gets unfairly ripped because I don't know. It was an easy target, I guess, because it was a slow kind of British drama, which were huge at that time, and people were taking pot shots at it for being kind of boring and stuff. But it worked for me. Number 4, Primal Fear. You guys both had it. First trifecta we've had.
Oh, it is.
Legal thriller. You know, the altar boy accused of murdering a Catholic archbishop in Boston, I believe. You got Richard Gere as the defense attorney. Laura Linney as the prosecutor. They're sort of have a past of romantic. I think they may have been married or together as a couple. And you got Ed Norton, who steals the movie from everybody. Alfred Woodard as the judge who's drinking backstage and stuff. She's a good character in this movie as well. Frances McDormand, of course, is the psychiatrist, shrink, and a dazzling performance by Ed Norton. It was his first film, a debut. I think he was a stage actor or a college student or whatever prior to this, and how he got the role, he ran with it and made his career, and he's done a lot of good work since. My number 3, another one of these British movies I can't get away from, Secrets and Lies, directed by Mike Leigh. This is a real knockout punch here. This Brenda Blethyn is the lead actress in this. It's an ensemble cast, but she had a daughter that was out for adoption when she was a young teenager, and they meet up, and she didn't even know this person would come back into her life. It's a wonderful movie about a dysfunctional family, very emotional, intense, very real. I don't recognize most of the actors in it, so it seems like they just took a camera and shot it with the accents and stuff because they weren't big stars on screen. And the secrets that come out, very devastating when she reveals to her the truth. So I love this movie. I know it's not for everybody. It's a talking movie. It's a slow movie. But if you like dysfunctional family movies and little character-driven stuff, I think it's wonderful. My number 2 is Sling Blade. Billy Bob Thornton, written, directed, starring, the whole 9 yards. This started out as a short film, I believe, that he was playing this character, and he decided to make it a feature film. There's a lot of heart in this film between him and the young kid played by Lucas Black. Great friendship. I think he's 20 years institutionalized after murdering his parents. He's got a mental disability. He's dim-witted, and he comes out and takes a liking to this young kid, and they become best friends. It's a special film, and then he helps him out when time is needed. When Dwight Yoakam's abusing the situation with the kid's mother and himself. John Ritter plays the gay boyfriend, and you got J.T. Walsh as one of the nutcases in the institution in the beginning.
Institution.
Yeah.
Spurs him on, he's dragging the chair and this and that. There's kind of little nuances there. Robert Duvall as the father, James Hampton as the counselor who gets him a job in as an auto mechanic. He can fix anything. He's eating mustard with the hell's he eating with hot dogs or something? I forget.
French fries
French
and mustard,
fries,
right?
French fries and
French fries
mustard.
and mustard.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of little nuanced stuff in here. He's playing football, tag football with a bunch of kids, and yeah, he's a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man out there, and he's running around with these teenage kids. It looks ridiculous, but it's a heartwarming movie. Beautifully shot in Arkansas too, in Billy Bob's hometown, I believe. Worst movie. One of Brian's favorite actors and one of his least favorite actresses appear in this. Mary Reilly. I despise the movie. Julia Roberts plays the maid to Dr. Jekyll, who's played by John Malkovich of all people. But it's dull. There's no excitement to this movie at all. It's slow. It's just there's no oomph. There's no pizzazz. A poorly conceived script, and it was just a snore fest. Mary Reilly, and it was
Supposed to be the final victim of Jack the Ripper, right?
Yeah,
Mary Reilly. Yeah.
And directed by Stephen Frears, who's made some good movies.
Right.
It was a solid cast, but didn't work. Number one's Fargo, easy pickings. Could very well be the best movie of the 90s. You guys mentioned the Coen brothers, of course, directed this. Dark comedy with a crime thriller meshing together here. Offbeat, eccentric characters. It's a masterpiece in many ways. The dialogue is precise and precious, and each scene is better than the next. It just flows beautifully. William H. Macy is the car salesman with his double talk and his nonsense, and of course Francis McDormand reads right through him like a cheap novel. And then you got that Chinese guy that calls up Francis McDormand.
Oh, but you're looking good. You're looking good. Yeah.
He's lying through his teeth at her.
Then he starts crying.
Right. His wife died
Oh my
and
God.
all this nonsense. There's so many good but Steve Buscemi is the best character in here for me. You know, when he has that shootout and he comes back with all that blood on his chin, and
Yeah.
he's just great. You know, he buries that money on the side like just it's just hilarious.
Oh, totally.
You know, and his problem with the toll booth when he's going through the toll booth, they want a nickel and dime every time he gets out.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel like a big man over there, huh? Yeah, your fucking dollar. He throws it at him. I've never seen such language in my life as this movie for a non-Scorsese film. The F-bombs are just flying left and right.
Yeah.
Most of it out of Buscemi's mouth.
Totally.
Cast, and even that scene where he gets beat up by that Indian dude in the hotel.
The hotel.
Right. After he's got that hooker in bed with him, it cracks me up every time I see it. Go smoke a peace pipe, he says.
Smoke a peace pipe.
The guy's kicking the shit out of him on the ground. It's just hilarious. Coen brothers are geniuses, man. They come up with that. They took a story that really happened and built all these characters around it, and you got this great movie.
Yeah.
It's one for the ages. So that's number one. We had the three trifectas this time: Primal Fear, Sling Blade, and Fargo. Very cool.
That's good.
Yeah, Lone Star would have been my number one honorable mention. I kind of wanted to get it in there, but I wanted to get That Thing You Do into. I didn't want to snub it.
I would have had Scream if I didn't have Frighteners.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Other than that, do we have any other close calls? I don't really have much.
Oh, Doc and I had 6, and you and I had 4, and then we end up having 3.
Yeah.
As a group. So.
Oh, we had 6, eh, Brian?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
6.
To be honest with you, Brian, I mean, your list was going to be probably sounding a little closer to mine at this time because From Dusk Till Dawn just missed. Trainspotting just missed. I think they're both You know, like from Dusk to
Yeah,
Dawn is definitely a Quentin movie.
yeah, Cheech Marin's little speech outside the that is just great. I mean, I don't want to go into it, but it's hilarious.
And Juliette Lewis too is good in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she's always an interesting character in every movie she's
You know, I had Jerry Maguire written down too. I can't say I didn't. If you want to have like a Romish comish kind of thing, you know, or whatever you want to call it for that kind of time, man, that's one of the better ones, that's for sure. I had Courage Under Fire written down. I had Ransom.
Yeah.
And then Michael Collins was also on my list as well.
I like Ghost of Mississippi too, with Alec Baldwin and Whoopi Goldberg.
Ghost in the Darkness came out that year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was just okay.
I never saw it. I didn't see it, believe it or not. That's one of the few Michael Douglas movies from that era I missed.
And I'm surprised you guys didn't think I'd have Twister in there, man. Because I said, you want to watch a campy kind of disaster film? Go watch Twister, man. And Kingpin. Kingpin came out that year. So Woody was in that one.
My
too,
God.
so.
Yeah, that's
Fairly
right.
Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Only if you want to see Bill Murray's hair going all over the place when he's doing his final bowling scene.
Got Munson out in the middle of nowhere.
I thought you might have Happy Gilmore, Doc, too, but
no. That's not even on my short list. No.
I know you like your comedies.
I do. I would have had Kingpin ahead of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that'll wrap up our 1996 top 10 movies. Check them out. If you haven't seen them, there's some good recommendations there. Go over to Brian's channel, Massey's Maine Entertainment. Check out our corresponding 1996 best album, where we give 12 songs from that year each. Very diverse this time around. You're not going to see much unison there. It's more all over the place. But if you have memories of 96, you're bound to find something you like on those videos. Everything is in the description below as far as past years, other channels, and we love comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week with 1997. So for Brian and Doc, this is Rich. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.